JUnit Addenda 1. JUnit version 5.6.2 to version 5.7 upgrade. JUnit version 5.6.2 to version 5.7 upgrade. This addendum lists most important changes from JUnit 5 version 5.6.2 to version 5.7. There are some meaningful changes in minor versions of JUnit 5, which must be explored and learned. Version 5.7 is 99.9% the same as version 5.6, including 5.6.2. Nonetheless, in the interest of completeness, here go the minor version updates, and usually, for example, version 5.6 to version 5.7 will have some functionality upgrades, whereas 5.6.1 to 5.6.2 will have only bug fixes. Alright, let's go on. Well, there is the addition of the flight recorder support from Oracle. To record your testing session, you would need to provide module org.junit.platform.jfr. Concretely, JUnit-platform-jfr-1.7.1.jar on the class path or module path at test runtime. You can start flight recording when launching a test run. Flight recorder can be started via Java command line option -xx column start flight recording, column file name equals the output file. Please consult the manual of your build tool for the appropriate commands for that particular build tool. An addition to advanced annotations has been made. Add test method order notation now features a few more ways to control the ordering of unit tests, such as display name, which sorts test methods alphanumerically based on their display names; method name, which sorts test methods alphanumerically based on their method name and formal parameter lists. The order annotation random and alphanumeric ordering schemes are as they were before, although the alphanumeric ordering scheme will be removed in JUnit 6. Use method name instead of alphanumeric in new code. An addition to the conditional execution API has been made. JUnit 5.7 adds the add-enabledIf and add-disabledIf annotations to execution condition annotations. A container test may be enabled or disabled based on the Boolean return of a method supplied via the add-enabledIf value attribute and add-disabledIf value attribute via those annotations. The method is provided to the annotation via its name, or its fully qualified name if located outside the test class. If needed, the condition method can take a single parameter of type extension context. When add-enabledIf or add-disabledIf is used at class level, the condition method must always be static. Condition methods located in external classes must also be static, if used at the class level. In any other case, you can use both static or instance methods. Well, actually, condition methods located in external classes must also be static if they're used at the class level or instance level, because that's the only way you can refer to them. Alright, let's go on. An addition to the Launcher API and Test Engine API has been made. JUnit 5.7 implements post-discovery filter interface proper. If you recall, JUnit 5.6.2 did not do so. The post-discovery filter can be used to filter out some discovered tests after they had been discovered. In addition to specifying post-discovery filters as part of a launcher discovery request object passed to the Launcher API, by default, custom post-discovery filter implementations will be discovered at runtime via Java's java.util.serviceLoader mechanism and automatically applied by the launcher in addition to those that are part of the request. For example, a tag.getRealGood.util.filter.custom-tag-filter class implementing post-discovery filter and declared within the /meta-in/org.junit.platform.launcher.post-discovery filter file is loaded and applied automatically, and you can You can provide one or more post-discovery filters, each on its own separate line within that file, and they will be picked up and registered and applied in the order you provide. Next, an addition to the launcher API and the test engine API has been made. JUnit 5.7 can now deactivate test execution listeners. You might have a custom test execution listener, pardon the typo, that sends the test results to an external system for reporting purposes, and while debugging, you might not want these debug results to be reported. To do this, provide a pattern, regex pattern for the JUnit.platform.execution.listeners.deactivate configuration parameter. Attention, this is a new JUnit-platform.properties property. In it, you should specify which execution listeners should be deactivated that is not registered for the current test run. Only listeners registered via the service loader mechanism within the metainf services org.JUnit.platform.launcher.testExecution listener file can be deactivated. In other words, any test execution listener that can be registered explicitly via the launcher discovery request, if you recall, cannot be deactivated via JUnit.platform.execution.listeners.deactivate configuration parameter because it's registered after the parameter had already been processed by the runtime. Well, in addition, since execution listeners are registered before the test run starts, the JUnit.platform.execution.listeners.deactivate configuration parameter can only be supplied as a JVM system property or via the JUnit platform configuration file, only in those two ways. This configuration parameter cannot be supplied in the launcher discovery request that is passed to the launcher, which is essentially what I just said in the previous bullet. An addition to the engine test kit has been made. JUnit 5.7 can now have more complicated assertions conditions for tests succeeding or failing. For example, the following is now possible, and I'm going to take about 30 seconds pause for you to take a look at the following code. Please see that it has have exactly method, event, static method, test static method, finished with failure, static method, instance of static method, message static method. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to process this code. Alright, so the event test finished with failure instance of message static methods are static methods of the test execution result conditions class being added to the engine test kit API. The have exactly is a instance method, or rather, instance method of whatever assert that events method returns. Alright, next. An addition to the parallel execution API has been made. If you recall, the parallel execution API is explored in Appendix A. JUnit 5.7 adds the add isolated annotation to its parallel execution of tests. Sometimes you want some of your tests to run sequentially, no matter what other configuration you have for parallel execution. In these cases, you must annotate a unit test with the add isolated annotation in order to achieve that effect. So basically, if you want a unit test to run sequentially without anything running in parallel, you just apply add isolated to the method, and that's what will happen. Some other minor improvements have been made in JUnit 5.7, such as custom disabled reasons for all at enabled disable star annotations in the conditional execution API. You can now provide the custom reason for it to be enabled or disabled. Improvements to assert timeout preemptively. Improvements to add CSV file source and add CSV source. And you're encouraged to always consult the official JUnit 5 documentation available at this link. Please look up the PDF on the course's website for this video and just click on that link and you'll be taken to the JUnit 5 current documentation. And I'll leave it to you to basically read about these minor improvements that are listed on this slide. So these are the major differences between JUnit 5.6.2 and JUnit 5.7. As you can see, the differences are tiny and are on the order of 1/10 of 1% between these versions. Nonetheless, it is important to check back into the course when a new minor version is released to get up to date on the latest and greatest stuff. So thank you for your time and be sure to apply these new features to your testing.